Hi there guys, today we're going to be using Access to 2010 to create a table for a database. Let's have a look. We have in front of us a clear Access database and we would like to go and create a table in which we're going to have fields and records. So I'd simply go ahead on File and go to New, and right here I've got available options. I could have selecting from the available templates that Microsoft Access provides. I have the Office.com templates. I'm simply going to go to my blank database, double click on that. Right there you'll see it automatically labels it as Table 1, and I can go ahead and enter some data. Right, for this matter over here, you'll see that I'll be able to work on the left hand side, and I'll be able to highlight this. And if I'm in doubt of how to go about editing, I could go ahead and right click on the table and I'll get a little pop-up menu that'll give me a list of options. Okay, I could go and import from an Excel document. I could export from this if I had any data in it, or I could simply just go ahead and change it to the design view. Now the moment I try to do that, it will ask me to save this table as a specific name. It gives me this option, so I'm just going to call it test. Okay, right, here I am presented with the actual properties, the field properties of my actual my table, and you'll see here I have field size, new values, the format, the caption, indexes, smart tags, and text align. Up at the top here I have my field names. You'll see that I have a primary key set on the ID already, and data type auto number. Alright, so what I'd like to do here is perhaps add another field. Remember, your database consists of fields and records. Okay, so in this case over here, I'm going to call this animals. I'm going to call this cars, and I'm going to call this test. Okay, how about we call this code? Alright, now I'm going to go back into the actual datasheet and it'll ask me straight away whether I would like to save this in my table. So I'm going to say yes, and straight away you'll be able to see the actual fields right across the top. Please note that when I'm in design view, I have them below one another. Okay, alright, so if I look at my ID, it has an auto number. Animals would obviously be text. Cars would be a text because it's a name. Test, I'm going to play around with test, and code would obviously be a mixture of either numbers or letters. You'll note that when I click on this actual cell, I could go and change what I need. Change it to numbers, date and time, my currencies, and I can go and do any of these that I really wish. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make the code a number, because now it'll only accept numbers, and the moment I change this to numbers, look at my field properties down below. I have long integers for field size, format that I need, and decimal places, input masks, captions, default values, and so on. Let's go click on this guy over here, and you see every time I click on a cell I end up with a drop down arrow. In this case over here, for code, I don't want it to be a long integer. I would like it to be just a normal integer or single digit. So let's go and put single. Alright, let's see how this affects me. I'm going to go ahead, change it to datasheet. Yet again, it wants me to apply these changes that I've created to my database. I say yes. Right, now in this case over here, I had my code as a single number. If I try to put more numbers and I press enter, you'll see that it still accepts it. Let's go back to my datasheet view and see exactly what my field size demanded. Code was a number and I needed field size to be single. Now let's see what or how this may change if I had integers. The setting for the field size property of one or more fields has been changed to a shorter size. If the data is lost, validation rules may be violated as a result. Do you want to continue? Anyway, now remember in this case over here, we had already put some values into that field that was longer than just the integer. So we say yes. It's obviously going to alter the data sheet that I had. Remember that long number that I put in there? So do you want to proceed anyway? Say yes, and you'll see that that is obviously affected or altered my time, my actual database. Alright, so let's see what our result would be like right now. Right, you see that because I changed it to integer, the value entered isn't valid for this field. For example, you may have entered text in a numeric field or a number that is larger than the field size permits. Okay, so say okay, and therefore I'd have to go and change that now. Let's press enter now, and it accepts it. Okay, so that's the difference between, in design view, when selecting number, what my field size would be between integer and obviously single. Alright, so that's just for starters. If I had to go change the actual format, you'll be able to change the format to, the currency or general numbers and so forth. Okay, we're going to stick to that for now, and I would like to end off this video just by giving you guys this short explanation as to how you're going to go about creating your database table. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned so we can actually explain and further our knowledge in Access Database 2010.